Hello there, and welcome to the newest Marvel podcast. We got a fantastic three. I'm Dean, and I'm joined with my co-host Reese
Hello.
and Ashley.
Yeah, guys.
On today's podcast, we'll be diving into all things Marvel. We will be looking at fan theories, debunking the newest trailers. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on all forms of our social media at TF3Pod. Listen along on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and watch us on YouTube as well, if you fancy that. You'll find us under the name The Fantastic Three. Today's episode is all about the new episode of Moon Knight. Right, so here we go. Ashley, you want to start off?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was very weird, but it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. I did really enjoy it. I think the only complaint that I had was that British woman at the beginning. She was a bit like, she's just horrible, and it was just like, if anything happens to her, oh well.
Who was that? The boss?
The boss, yeah, the boss at the.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
Stevie.
No, it
You kept calling him Stevie.
Yeah, I thought it was alright actually. I didn't think it was that bad.
It's good. Yeah. I liked it.
Reece?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, it's the different. It looks like a different. What's the word? Different. Can't think of it, but a different. Not genre because it's not, but a different time we're maybe getting at Marvel. It's it's very different to anything else we've seen before. Should we say that? It's very,
Very like
some people horror-esque, but even though it's not, I'm not saying it is, but it's kind of we haven't really had anything in Marvel where there's not a jump scare that there was, but that sort of backs to your seats. Maybe some people looking over a pillow because some people get a little bit more scared than others, but. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I think the addition to Moon Knight with everything else we had on Disney Plus the week before, sort of following in the same suit of maybe going a little bit darker in the MCU now instead of all the kid friendly, which there's nothing wrong with that stuff, and we all love that. But for the older listeners and watchers and viewers in terms of Marvel, this sort of stuff maybe is a bit more suited to some of the stuff we've seen. And as Disney Plus series go, hopefully this is going to be another good one. What about you, Dean? What do you think?
I thought it was good. I did. I thought it was good. I like the fact that they hid away one of his like personalities, we'll say, when the fire was going on. I like that. I know a lot of people complained about it because a lot of people, they either didn't understand it actually, or they didn't. They just didn't like it because they didn't see anything. But if you don't know him, or if you've never heard of the character, then it makes no sense. But if you kind of knew about him and that, it makes sense. And it's good, I think. Yeah. They don't show everything straight away. Because that happens in that happens in like the first 15 minutes of the episode? Like 10. It's something like that. So if they show everything off then
what you got to look forward to.
Yeah. And then it's good because of what happens at the end. Kind of shows off what is basically happening. But because we don't know if in them fight scenes when he blanks out, if he actually turns into it is Moon Knight, that one, isn't it?
That's Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's not Mr. Knight, is it?
So Mark can turn into Moon Knight, which I've seen online. So they think Mark Jacobs, who the mercenary, one of his personas, can turn into Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And Stephen Grant, the guy who was with for the most of the first episode, apparently he can turn into Mr. Knight, who is is like the detective side of the more suave, the more gentleman version of Moon Knight, should we say? But we'll get into that.
Yep.
Either in later episodes.
That's the one without the hood, isn't it? Is that the one like without
the
suit?
He's in a suit. Yeah, he's in a suit type one. Yeah.
Looks like Slender Man.
We'll get into that either later in this episode or another episode when we're seeing. Hopefully, episode 2. Hopefully, he might make an appearance in episode 2. I think they'll probably leave him till one of the later on in the series, though. But I'm looking forward to this series. I think it was really good. Really do.
It was different.
Yeah,
it was good. Right, let's go.
So it started with the villain of this. So it started with Arthur Harrow. He's meant to be the villain of this series. In the comics, he wasn't actually that much of a main character as such. He was just sort of like a science expert, your classic Marvel villain. He was a scientist that he was an expert in science, and then things go wrong, you know. But so we started off with the episode where he put the glass in his shoes when he was walking.
Yeah, because that's
and
meant
then
to be an
just-
actual thing, isn't it?
Well,
That's actually a meditation. Is it meditation?
it's like walking on hot coals, isn't it? As such?
yeah,
It's the same.
people actually do that, don't they? It's actually
It's
a
What
real
did he
thing.
smash
People-
up in the
yeah.
glass? Didn't he have he had a glass of water, didn't he? And didn't he like wrap it up in tissue, smash it with his cane, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Well, I
remember.
don't know if
glass
it was
of water,
water,
yeah.
but it might have been another
But
substance.
what he
yeah.
actually did is what people they do in real life.
Yeah.
They walk on glass. It's bizarre.
It's to keep yourself feeling of you're in the pain barrier and you're at your level of where you want to be and such. And people don't know you're in pains, but you know you're in pain, so you can feel not superior to some people, but it gives some people just a, you know, I don't know really what I'm looking for with this, but it's the same when people walk on hot coals. It's that same. It's
Yeah,
the same sort of scenario as such. But then he will also get a look at his tattoo. So the tattoo with the 2 crocodile heads.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't really get much from that. We see Arthur Harrow walking off, and then it starts off as Mark in London.
Yes.
That's all we get. And we just get him in London. So Mark is working as a gift shoppist, is what he called himself. Gift shoppist.
Good shopping.
Gift shoppist is what he called himself. So he's working as a gift shoppist in the London Museum. Just a quick one. There's another fun fact. Last time we was in the London Museum in Marvel was at the end of Eternals, where Dane Whitman was getting an ebony blade.
Because
from-
Thingy worked there,
Oh,
didn't?
yeah.
No, because he worked there, didn't he?
Dane Whitman worked there.
Yeah, 'cause he
he's going to
worked
get
there.
the persona, the Black Knight, hopefully in an upcoming MCU.
Oh, they're
title,
gonna do
so
that. They're already gonna do it at the end of this.
I
aren't they?
reckon they.
That'll be the end of
Episode
this,
6. Episode 6. They're gonna do it. They're gonna tease it at
Well,
the
then
end.
they can then tease the Midnight Suns.
Yeah, and that's
which
what
is
they'll
with
do.
Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just another one.
Are any of the ones from Disney Plus in the Midnight Suns?
Punisher and Daredevil. In some episodes, anyway. Daredevil and Punisher, you know, in frequently quite in it a lot. That's why I can see with getting this. That's why I think they may have dropped Moon Knight at the same time that
Yeah,
got
because
given
they've all
shows.
kind of the same vibe.
Yeah,
They're not obviously as
Because the thing is,
out
if
there as
they,
them ones, but they're a
if
bit
they
more.
rock up in if they rock up in the last episode of Moon Knight, it's going to make people want to go back and watch like Daredevil and,
Yeah,
and all that
exactly.
sort of like.
Yeah, but like I
Yeah,
said,
and then it's there, and because all they got to do is press back, and it will come up with the because you like this, and it will say that they can watch it. And
well, like I said to
it'll be
Reece,
Absolutely.
they said that Daredevil's canon to Spider-Man.
oh, have they actually
Yeah, because they
confirmed
was
whether
it is. Yeah, they have.
they have
Yeah.
actually said that all of
Yeah.
the Jessica Jones.
Well, no,
they're
they
all- they're all
they
part
didn't say
of it.
all of them. They because someone only asked about Daredevil.
Ah,
Because
right.
people were thinking that Daredevil and Wilson Fisk were like variants
Yeah.
and not the ones from the I say Disney now, but they are.
Yeah.
They're not variants. They're the same one from then.
Same ones.
Mm.
Because it'd be interesting what they do. It'd be interesting to see whether they will make
Right,
all
actually,
of the
we'll carry on with
Netflix
that.
ones.
Next,
Oh, yeah, okay,
go
yeah,
next one because we've got to quickly go on with this.
Yeah, we got to do that. Yeah,
Sorry, that's my fault.
Just another-
that's another.
Just
yeah.
another quick
That's my
little
fault.
Easter egg as such. It might not be an Easter egg, it might just be a general flaw. But when he's running for the bus, I know I've cut a little bit onto into the episode, but when he's running for the bus, so just after he's got off the phone to his mum, which we'll come back onto that scenario as well, there's a shop called Atlantis Island. And Atlantis is obviously the location of Namor the Submariner.
Yeah.
So just a little teaser as well. It might not be anything too serious, but it's just something that I spotted when I was looking, because I've watched it a couple of times now to get a few bits for the pod as well, and just for my own enjoyment because I really enjoyed it. So that was another thing we saw.
Speaking of Easter eggs, while you're saying it, I
Yeah, go
like the
on.
one on the QR code.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that is legit.
No, it is. People have done.
Is
Apparently,
it?
if you scan it,
Oh,
it
right,
takes
okay.
you to. I think it's a website or something, and it brings up the first issue of Moon Knight. The first.
Well, it's the
actual
Moon Knight
cover.
where he was first. Well, it was Moon Knight in the Midnight by a Werewolf, wasn't it? Where he
Yeah,
first
that's the one. It brings up. That. I
introduced.
can't remember if it's a picture on Google or if it's a website. Or
No,
something.
it
Brings
gives
up
you
that
it
comic,
gives you a not a PDF, but it gives you like an actual whole.
which is
It gives you
clever.
the whole comic. It gives you the whole
Yeah.
comic to read through. Yeah,
Mad.
that's I found it
Which
was
is
quite
clever.
cool. Yeah, I hope it's true because I
Yeah.
saw it on April Fools and I was a bit like, I don't know if I'm going to
Yeah.
agree with this, but yeah. So we see Mark get up from his bed. He's got sand all around his bed. He's got a blue tape on his door and he's got shackles on. And then we see him say hello to Mr. One Thing Gus, who is his pet goldfish Gus with his
goldfish.
one thing.
Nemo.
Little Nemo. So there's not much to take from that bit apart from that as an audience, if you didn't know much about him, he at the minute it looks like he just might sleepwalk. And he says he sleepwalks and
It was just
he
wake up
wakes
in random
different
places. Didn't he?
Yeah.
That's
Which-
what I was wondering. 'Cause when I saw all that on the film, I was sitting there thinking, what is it? Is this been going on for years and that? And I was thinking, no, it's not. And I was a bit like, why has he got all this stuff? And I was like, it must be something, yeah. And then when he said about the sleepwalking,
So then so after he does that, he gets on the phone to his mum, which I'm a little bit suspect of. Is there
Yeah.
anyone at the
Well,
end of that phone?
Have you
Yeah.
seen?
Because he also
have
gets
you
given
seen-
the postcards.
Yeah, but have you seen the thing about that? They
No,
reckon that the postcard thing,
is sent by
is-
Mark.
yeah, it's Mark. She's the other thingy. He's other like
Identity, yeah.
personality or identity.
Yeah,
He's writing him the cards, sending them back
Yeah.
to him
yeah.
because he knows that his mum's like either dead or not around, but he
Mhm.
doesn't realize that she's dead and not around. So he's just
Right.
he's trying to help him
Trying to
cope.
keep him at bay as such.
Yeah, and trying to keep him
Yeah.
coping with the fact that she's not there.
yeah,
see-
because
I
he
see-
always
I
says the
see
same
that,
thing. He's
yeah.
like,
Because
he always says at the end of the phone call, didn't he say like, call me later or something like
Yeah.
that? Or
He
I'll
used to
call
say, see you
again
later,
later.
alligator. He used to say, see you later, alligator.
yeah, and it's like, call me later or something like that. And it's a bit, even I was a bit, I bet there's no one on the end of that phone.
you
Or
can
he's just
tell,
like
this,
making
you
his
can
own-
tell this. He's obviously got. There's something wrong with him, and you can tell.
He is
there
playing it very well. Old Oscar Isaac's playing it very well.
Yeah.
So after that, we see him run to the bus because he's late for work. Or I think he said he was late for work in that episode, in that scene. And that's when you see
yes.
the Atlantis sign in one of the shops. So when he's running for the bus, then you see him coming to work and he gets greeted by his lovely boss, which is Donna. So
Ashley's
Donna's
friend.
not a very nice boss. But I feel like you need a character like this. You need someone that brings the joking side to it, because I feel like she's just going to always crack a joke at Stevie or Stephen, which calls him Stevie. She's always going to crack a joke at Stephen Grant, who is the gift shoppist. And then he
Very British.
claims that he was speaking to Donna and there's something wrong with the promotional pictures and banners up in the museum about the gods. the
Oh, yeah,
Enneads,
'cause he
the
said there was-
Egyptian gods.
There was 6
So
or
there's-
something, wasn't it?
There's,
Maybe
there's
7.
6. There's
Or there's-
meant to be 9, and there was 7 on display.
That's it.
I think it was
missing
6 on
2.
display, but there's meant to be 9.
Yeah. or
So
missing
a
one.
few people were saying the missing couple is one of them could be Khonshu, because then
Which
they
is the
say
one
that
that's following him or trying to get him.
who
in it.
have got the power as such, which will So
Yep.
they reckon one of them might be Khonshu. I've seen other things online which I quite like the idea of, and it could lead into future stuff in the MCU, especially in the summer. Is that one of them could be the missing? I think it's the goddess of love. I think she was the Bast. But Bast, if you remember from the Black Panther, was the one who led the warrior to the heart-shaped herb, who then gave them the powers for Wakanda and how to then
Oh, I didn't think of that.
sustain vibranium and things like that as well. So, but I think Bass is related to, in the comics, I could be wrong, but I think Bass is related to Khonshu somehow as well, and is in normal world, like in our world, has got some relations to some of the Ennead, because they are true. The Ennead is real. Just like in Thor, we have the Norse mythology in Loki, Thor, Odin,
Yes.
Hela,
Well,
as that they are supposedly real.
But then
in
that's what you're going to
in
have
Norse
with
mythology.
Namor, isn't it? I reckon that'll be all like to do
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
based on Atlantis and
Yeah.
like you said,
So
all that stuff.
yeah, things that we could see coming true. So then there's things that currently aren't looking right. So then Stevie finishes up as his night and goes back to sleep. And then he sees his friend that he's going out for a date with, but he doesn't have a clue.
Oh yeah, he doesn't
what
know a name,
the
does
date
he?
is. And
He
also,
doesn't even know it, does he?
Stephen Grant is also a vegan, so they're going for a date at a
Steak.
steakhouse.
Yeah.
So the red flags are currently then, as the viewer, you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute. what's going on, because Donna says, why does a vegan want to go to a bloody steakhouse anyway? I think she says in them lines. And then we cut to the next time we see him, he's in his bed and he's reading through the Ennead, history of the Enneads and Egypt and all that jazz. And then he gets his Rubik's Cube and bang, he wakes up with a desiccated jaw in some middle of the Alps with a lovely looking scene behind him. What do you think of that?
And the guy talking to him in the background.
Yeah.
Or in his head.
In English. Well, sorry, yeah. But then you also got the guy talking to him in that castle is with an English accent as well. So it might be from the Alps, but you could see that it was a cult that have clearly a big following of this cult that have pulled people in. And then you hear the voice of Khonshu.
Oh, is that who it is?
So that voice is Khonshu in the voice that you can hear. Well, I'm assuming, I would probably say it is as well. Because then Khonshu was going, I think it was, the worm's back. Didn't he say the worm is back? Or who put, it's something, he disrespects him and he hasn't got a clue what's going on. And then you see Khonshu come up behind him and then him turn around and then it's that castle.
I remember.
So that was that scene as such. And then you sort of see him.
I think that was the bit where I was just sitting there, and as I said, it was late when I was watching it. I was sitting there thinking, "What on earth is going on here?" I said, "What?" And then that's where I think it confused me. And I was sitting there thinking, "How the hell did we get here?" I was like, "Is this a dream? Like, what's going on here?" And then I said, it confused me. It confused the hell out of me that bit.
Well, maybe instead of carrying on quickly where we're heading off in terms of what was going on in terms of when we wake up, just a quick one. If anyone doesn't know what Moon Knight. Stephen Grant suffers with. He suffers with DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. So if you've ever seen the film Split, that's a really good film with James McAvoy. That portrays it in another light as well. So he has a split personality disorder. It's back in the day, it used to be called a split personality disorder, but it's now called DID. So he has an alias of Stephen Grant, who's the gift shoppist, like he says, and then you have Mark Jacobs, who is the mercenary, and you have Mr. Knight, and then you have Moon Knight. So just a quick one, if people wasn't aware, that is what the crack is with that. So then, yeah. And then, Dean, do you want to carry on with what was in the cupcake? Should we go to the cupcake scene next? Because I feel like that's the one that people were a bit confused of what was going on if they didn't understand. Where he's in the cupcake van.
Oh, the Rory cuts and comes back.
Yeah.
Right, Ashley, you say your bit first, because I feel like a lot of people will be on the same vibe you were on. And I have seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people moaning. I have seen a lot of people moaning about this. This is a split in people's opinions. You either enjoyed it or you didn't like it at all. Because you didn't know what was happening.
This is the chase.
This is the thing that you were talking to me and Reese about just before. But explain why you didn't what you thought.
I just thought the bit that was confusing me, where it was like it was showing you like the bit where he'd like pick up the gun, and then the next shot you just see like the guy sitting there with like the bullet through his head, and I was sitting there thinking, why didn't we get to see that? And there was like they were showing you bits where it was building up to the bit when it happens, then it like would like fizz out, and then you wouldn't see it, and then you wouldn't see the bit. And I said that was the bit that I was literally watching. I was like, why are we not being allowed to see it? Like it was confusing me a bit.
No, I wouldn't. I understand why it confused you.
I think it was because it was so late.
Right, you got to remember, yeah. So he'll only go into, say, we'll use Mr. Knight and Moon Knight for an example, just for this one. They only turn into them when they absolutely have to. That's why Mark. That's why in what happens at the end, he's like, "Let me take over you now, because if you don't, we're both going to die." That's why so in them split seconds, because I'm assuming, I was about to call him Simon. It's not Simon, is it? What's his name? Stephen. That's why Stephen's like, because I think he's so confused about the situation, so it's so easy for the other one, for Mark to just take over.
Well, Stephen doesn't
because
realize
he's so scared. He doesn't understand what's happening. Like one minute he's like getting chased by people, next thing he's got a gun in his hand, and there's people dead in his van. So Mark is able to kill these people because that's the Mark. That's what
He
Mark's
can do, yeah.
personality is. Mark's personality is obviously trying to do something for someone else. So he's lived the life of, when he's been Mark, he's lived the life of, let's say, a mercenary. He goes around, he'll kill people if he has to. Whereas
Well, Stephen just thinks he
Stephen-
sleepwalks.
Stephen thinks he sleepwalks and he works in the night,
Yeah.
like night in a museum, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas Mark doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously goes out and does all this stuff. And Mark knows about Moon Knight and Mr. Knight and these other
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas he hasn't got a clue, and I think they're trying to protect him from not knowing. They
Yeah,
don't.
no,
I don't
I
think
hear
they ever wanted
Mhm.
him to find out. That's
No.
why
So
he
is
was always
that
sending him.
why-
That's why I was probably always sending him them postcards, because
to try and keep
They
him,
tell
in,
him-
trying to keep him as convinced as possible he's got a
Yeah.
normal life.
yeah,
Is that like the bit as well? Like when he was meant to meet that girl
And-
for dinner? Is that like when she said that was week? Didn't she say that was weeks ago?
no,
So
it
you
was
probably
No, it was
find-
days ago.
days ago.
Days
Couple of
ago,
days. So
yeah.
in those couple of days, he's probably stayed as
Mark, yeah,
Mark.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
and then
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but then them cutting out their fighting bit, I think is good, because it doesn't
It builds up
show.
that, yeah.
It doesn't show straight away what's happening, so you've got to watch
Yeah.
it to understand. And then when you get to the end of it, you understand what happened. You just got to put two and two together and realize that
Yeah.
he turned into Mark for them split seconds. That's why you didn't
Mhm.
see it, because you were seeing it from the perspective of Stephen.
Oh,
Yes.
I see.
And
Yeah.
that's
So
you.
you're
They were
saying-
showing
yeah.
you. They were showing you what happens to Stephen when Marx takes over. That's why.
Oh,
That's
I
why
see.
he's always passes out or goes to sleep, because he's not asleep or such. He's just
Yeah.
not there.
So as I said, so what I said to you earlier, they could do in the next episode or the episode after, they could do a sort of like a flashbacky bit where it will take you back to those scenes that we saw, but instead of seeing, you'll see those missing gaps. Like you'll see the bit where he shoots the guy in the head. It might show you the bit, so it sort of like fills in the gap of, oh yeah, that's what happened.
Yes. No.
Right,
To
yeah,
be fair, I
that's what
don't think
I
they're going to
reckon,
show
yeah.
you. I don't think they'll show
I
you
don't
that
think they
scene.
will.
Or they'll show it in the future scene. They'll show another scene, and then you'll put two and two together and think, oh, that
Well,
must have happened when he done all that.
I
Yes.
think. I think we. I think we will next episode. I think we are going to see Mark on how we
Yeah.
got the Khonshu powers. I think you're not going to pick up from Stephen Grant in the museum bathroom now
Yeah.
until episode 3, at least. I think they might cut
You
it a
reckon?
bit. Yeah, I think they're going to leave that and leave it on a cliffhanger. And then we're going to see a black screen that'll say a year ago. And it'll be Mark
Yeah.
Jacobs with Deschamps, who is on his phone, and his girlfriend Lila, and they're doing a mercenary mission somewhere in Africa, in Egypt. And boom, I think that's how we then see
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad
how
idea.
we got Khonshu, how Khonshu entered
Enters
his,
the
his body as such, as a
He just takes
as
it
you-
over, doesn't he?
takes over. Yeah. I can see. Yeah, absolutely.
No, it was good though. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I really
There
did.
was so much
There were-
more as well. There was
There's
even
so
the
much
fact
more
that
to talk
there was even
about.
the fact that they showed you the bad person, like the baddie, and
Yeah, a lot of
like they
a
showed
lot
you
of
the
people are
baddie,
saying that.
and then they showed you the baddie, but he didn't know who the baddie was. He doesn't even know who he is. He hasn't got a clue. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't know who he was. He was like who he like. He
That's
asked,
what
the,
they
Yeah.
said.
he asked the security guard to get rid of him, and then he was like, showed him his
Well-
wrist and was like,
Well, because that's the next scene, isn't it? Where he goes into the town
yeah,
and then meets. He meets Ethan. Is it Ethan Harrow? Yeah, Ethan Harrow for the first time. Who is the villain? Yeah.
But it's like a lot of people said that, didn't they? They said that with all the other Marvel shows, it's taken about 3 episodes in to actually introduce the villain, and they said they literally introduced the villain in the first like bloody opening
there's
bit.
so much more. People don't understand how big Moon Knight is.
The thing
There's
is, though,
so
the thing
much
is,
more.
if you look at it in another way, is Ethan? I think it's Ethan Harrow. I keep saying that. Is Harrow the guy we see really the villain, or is Khonshu the villain? Because you have to look at it that he's clearly done something.
Yeah, no,
and
yeah,
you know, we haven't seen him yet, because we know that when we see that Harrow and Stephen Grant talking, he says that someone betrayed Amit, and Amit is the god that they worship with on the tattoo. So that whole scene there is, I believe, back in the day. I don't know if they're doing. I forgot if they're doing it on this one, but if your heart weighed more than a feather, you'd get eaten by the monster as such that they portrayed on the scene. It was like had a hippo back with a lion's mane and a crocodile tail. But in this, I think it's if you're seen to be doing good, you stay alive, which that guy was doing it because he done it with a guy and it went green. So
I was
green,
going to say, we haven't even spoke about
alive.
that yet, really,
and
have
then
we? Even
it
his
went
arm.
red, and it went red when the old lady come in. She was like, I haven't done anything yet. I've been good my whole life.
Yeah,
and
but
that's when he said, maybe it was something you're
do in the
doing
future.
that. You're going to
do in the future.
And his tattoo went red. So that then she went to a life.
So I'm assuming it
horrible.
means you. It
So
looked
she's
like
now
scowls,
getting
didn't
fed
it? It
to
looked like
Amit
scowls,
to
so
suck.
it was like.
So she's now getting fed, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like.
So it was the
good
scales,
ways
so
out of the
it- so it
bad.
weighs.
If the
So
good
that's
ways
it.
out of the bad, then
So that's
you're
what
right.
it is. So it's if your heart weighs more than a feather. So that's what that's meant to be. So then if it weighs more, then it levels off. And so if it was, because with that, hers went like, if it was either that or like that, either way. So that was in the day, that was what it used to be in them times. So yeah, that was sort of that scene really in the Alps. Then you see him talking, then we see the cupcake, then we see him go back. Because it was all about, he had the scarab, he had the little orb, didn't he, thing that he would have in, and they really wanted that so bad.
they wanted it, didn't they? And he was like,
Because
"Give
that belonged to the goddess Arnett. Because when you see them again, he wakes up, thinks it's all a dream, doesn't he? And then he goes back to work, sees Khonshu on the bus after they had the little elevator debacle.
Oh yeah,
that's
much we missed out.
So no, did he see Khonshu on the bus or
Yeah, it was on the bus.
No, but was that after he saw? No, because didn't he wake up? He woke up. Sorry, so he went back.
Well, he woke up, found the phone.
Yes, found the phone.
Found the phone. That's what I'm saying.
With
There's
Lila,
so much more.
with his
he
girlfriend
found the
Lila.
phone, and then he was like, "What the hell?" His fish died.
Well, yeah.
Well, we don't know
Gus
if
has
he
got
died.
two
He's
fins.
got another fin in it.
No, he got another fin, wasn't
Yeah, Gus has got two fins now.
Yeah. His thingy died. He could hear the thingy in the background when he was in his flat. When the phone went on, the lady phoned him and he was like, she was like, "Where are you?" And he was like,
because first of all, she said, "Hello, Mark."
Yeah, Mark.
He was like, "Mark, what is this accent, Mark?"
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Why did you call me Mark?" Because then he realizes. Then I think he's now realized that he's
he moves the fish tank, didn't he? And he finds the whatever, I can't remember what it was at the bottom.
He finds the phone, doesn't he? He finds the phone.
Oh, that's where it is, isn't it? Not in I thought it was in a safe.
Yeah, it was in like the crawl space, wasn't it? It was like the crawl space. So yeah.
And then that's when it goes to the bus one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it does. Goes to the bus.
It goes.
Then
to
he
the bus.
sees him.
He sees him in the. No, he goes for something to eat, doesn't he? He goes for something to eat. Realizes that it's Sunday because he wakes up. He wakes up. No, because he went to check. Because he took Gus. I'm so confused. I've watched the episode 3 times and I can't.
He goes on the date, doesn't he?
Let's just get to the. Let's just talk about the scenes. Obviously, not in order because none of us can figure it out.
It's gone out
go to the bus. Just go to the bus with. So he goes to the bus. He sees Khonshu on the bus.
He sees Khonshu on the bus.
And then when he gets off the bus, he sees him taller.
On the bus. Yeah.
Oh, he sees Fing on the bus as well, doesn't he?
It sees Ethan on the bus. I think it's Ethan Hall. I could be wrong. I'm probably thinking of a random name. I've got to find it. That's going to stress me out now. Keep talking, Mark.
Right. So then he sees him. Then he goes into work. That's when he then gets stopped by him. And then he's like, "Sorry,
Arthur Harrow, not Ethan Harrow."
And then he goes off. And then
who's played by Ethan Hawke?
No, that is it. So that's at the end. The bit where he sees him again in I'm going to call it Night in the Museum. The Night in the Museum is when he's right at the end because that's when he summons that dog thing or whatever it is to go chase him and then you get into the last bit. But then the elevator bit's funny because he comes out of his house flat, doesn't he? And he
I didn't get that because he went from floor 3, even though he was pressing ground floor. Bearing in mind he's pressing ground floor, how an elevator would work. If you were on 4, opened up at floor, he was at 5. It went to 3, then it went back to 5, even though ground floor was already selected. So who was pressing the button at 3 for him to see?
Was it not the old lady
Control.
that got on?
But she was down the. Oh no, she wasn't. Yeah, it's so. I do hope we see them sort of stuff. I really do.
Yeah.
And then
I think there'll be an episode that'll be dedicated to sort of like
I
the
don't think they will.
No, I don't think
I
they
don't know,
will. There's
they
no
might
point.
do one
I don't
where
think
it's-
they
where
need
it
to.
shows like
I don't think they need to
I don't
because
know.
I don't think they need to because I think they're going to fill it up with the like the action and the fighting anyway.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
as soon as you,
Yeah.
as soon like they've done at the end of this one, like should we just talk about the end bit now? Because we've covered
Yeah,
pretty
we
much
might as
most
well, yeah.
scenes.
Yeah.
So if we go back to the end now, then so the end scene of where he's in the toilet,
in the bathroom.
in
Yeah,
bathroom, and then he's like, oh, and then Mark's like,
So-
give me
let
you.
me
And you
take
can
over.
see this. You can see him
Yeah.
in the mirror, and you can tell it's a different person. And he's like, "Give
Mhm.
me, let me take control of your body. Otherwise, we're both gonna die." But the reason
Yeah.
why he's saying that is because even Mark can't kill the creature outside, but that Mark knows that Moon Knight will be able to kill him,
Yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
that's why he's saying, "Give me it.
So
let me
Mark
take control."
Mark can summon
Yeah.
Moon Knight, whereas
So
Stephen can't.
Can't no, and then
Yeah,
obviously, so he relaxes. That's what I'm saying to you about the whole thing on the buses, on the
Mhm.
in the ice cream or the cookie muffin thing.
yeah,
Because he was so like kind of not relaxed, but he's just so not with it.
he's
He was
blasé
able
because
to-
he doesn't understand what's going on.
Mark was just able to go like that and just get in
Yeah,
and
Mhm.
take over and do the stuff that he was allowed to do, then just drop out.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what I think what happened. Obviously, I could be wrong. And then that's
No,
why he just
no.
relaxed, calmed,
Mhm.
and then Mark was able to go in, take over, and as soon as he took over, he turned straight into Moon Knight. So there must be a cue
Yeah.
on how to turn into Moon Knight and Mr. Knight and things like that. They must just have.
I'm looking forward to the Mr. Knight,
Cover it.
when we see that Mr. Knight.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Mm.
cool. And then obviously that thing didn't look nice. It died.
Did you notice though that as soon as he turned into Mr. Knight, as soon as he turned into Moon Knight, sorry, I got confused there because we was talking about that. The monster, or I forgot the name of it, it seemed to then be scared of Moon Knight. It was scared of Moon Knight.
It
So it was trying to run away. It was trying to claw
run
at the
away.
t-
Yeah.
So it's not. I think we could see. I think we're going to see a very Punisher-X sort of series. It's not going to be one for the faint-hearted. It's not going to.
No.
If you want something to watch, if you've got little kids or something, if you want something to watch, I don't think this is going to be the series that I really think
I mean,
they're
if
going to
it's
go
rated
quite
16
dark
plus, isn't it?
and quite
On
thingy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you had to
it's
change
rated
your
16 plus.
well, you had to change your
Yeah.
Disney Plus age restriction to
Yeah.
be able to watch it,
yeah.
unless you already
Yeah.
had it. Thingy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
think
good.
that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
I think
that
we'd
is
sort
pretty
of-
much it. We've covered.
That's.
Yeah.
Can't wait
Majority.
for episode
Okay,
2.
the other thing that people were talking about is the scene with when he's talking to the gold guy being upside down.
Oh yeah, what was the
Yeah.
gold guy
That's
about?
that's something. Yeah, they reckon it's upside down because when the leaf lands, it lands. They reckon on the bottom and not on the top,
Mm.
and it's like from the top, but so it's just flipped around. It's really weird. It was just something I saw, but
I enjoyed it. I just
Yeah,
want to
that's
say one thing. We spoke about it in the last pod. I think it was the last pod about the giveaway. So we have a Moon Knight comic to be given away. We'll probably run the competition starting from episode 2. Maybe we'll put some details in on episode 2, and it will run all the way through till the end of Moon Knight. We'll do comments. We'll do some. We'll let you know how to get involved in that giveaway from episode 2, and the giveaway will be on purely if you've listened on YouTube. You've got to listen on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or whatever listening platform you're listening on or watching on, and then the giveaway winner will be announced on the pod and on Twitter as well. So there'll be more details of that in the next episode. So that'll be keep a listen out for that. Please come back and listen to our episode 2 reaction to find out more details on that as well.
and all our like social media accounts and everything like that will be in the description below on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. The thingy is at
just to butt in.
pod, and you'll
Just a
find
button,
us.
Dean. Sorry.
Sorry.
We've gone live on Amazon as well now.
Oh, we're on
And we've
Amazon
had
now.
we've had quite a hit on Amazon as well. So we're just gonna we're them
Did not know
free
that.
on them free listening platforms of Amazon, YouTube, Amazon, Spotify, and Apple. So you can listen on them free, and you can listen on the RS feed as well, which is a popular website for podcasters. If people
And you can
know.
watch TikToks as well.
Yeah,
TikToks is the fun
Little
one.
TikTok.
We basically just deep dive into Marvel stuff, like anything.
yeah.
And we had
Anything, really.
little fun, like if we're out and about and we see some like stuff and like anything related to what we spoke to, like pops, action figures, anything that looks cool, and that we just like we'll do a little TikTok, and we'll also do TikToks on the like the upcoming episodes and what you can expect.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Then we're going to call it a day.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys
All
for
right, thank
listening.
you for watching. Please like
Thank
and
you very much.
subscribe. Don't forget to hit the follow button. And we will see you next week for Moon Knight episode number 2. We may come in early with a Doctor Strange little recap because a lot has happened in this literally
I
last
think
like
that's ideal.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
So we will
Yeah.
do that soon.
We've also
Okay?
got Morbius as
All right.
well that we'll be doing soon as well.
Yep. All right. See you
Yes.
later, guys. And
Bye, guys.
See you later.